childhood education is the very first form of education from birth and typically till about 8 years of age. Primarily, early childhood education is delivered in a center, a school, sometimes in the home in a family provider situation.
For Susie's first year of life, she was home with him, and so when we moved here and we needed childcare, we didn't really know anything. We just wanted somewhere safe because we'd never left her with anybody really except for family. We had initially looked at just a babysitter that lived down the block from where we were living, but it didn't have the consistency that a childcare center would have. You needed to have a backup babysitter, and it was just with one other child. So we wanted something small, but something that she would have interaction with other kids because she's also an only child.
There's a growing body of knowledge and science and research behind what happens those first 5 years. We didn't think people were learning until they got to kindergarten, first grade. So we weren't valuing those first 5 years.
We want children who are respectful. We want children who care about others, who are able to share and, are excited about learning. And you're not going to get that by just sitting in front of a television.
Lancaster County needs to build awareness of what the first 5 years mean and what you can do at home or at a center or anywhere to help your child be ready for kindergarten. I think the first barrier is accessibility. There is not enough high-quality early childhood centers in Lancaster County to serve all the children that have needs.
We were really lucky when we started because there was room for one more child in the 2-year-old class, where as soon as she started, then there was a waiting list.
Building more centers would be a great start, but we're going to have a lot of barriers with just building more centers. The centers need to be staffed with professionals that are trained in early childhood education, have their college degrees, and know what early childhood should look like and what they should be doing. There is a shortage of teachers coming out of colleges wanting to work in early childhood. Nationally average, we rank a little bit above fast food workers and right below toll booth workers.
To get something quality where they are doing ongoing training and things like that, that costs money. We really needed it. We're not trained teachers at all, and we don't know those kind of strategies to encourage kids to learn.
The other barrier parents find is the affordability. Childcare and early childhood education is typically averaging about 1/3 of a household's expenses. An average weekly preschool tuition in Lancaster County is around $175 a week. It is still not affordable for most families to send their children to the best centers.
I had been out of work for quite a while. I believe it was the middle of January is when we actually said we might need to take her out. We couldn't afford what we were paying at the time, even though it was a very good rate for the quality of education that she was receiving.
There are not a lot of options for families to get financial assistance for early childhood education. There are a few centers in the county that are able to provide scholarships or sliding scale tuition to families. I think the number of those centers could be counted on one hand.
At the time, June Hirschberger was the head of Diamond Street, and we got a call from June, and June spoke to Michelle. She was starting to cry because June said that we have a scholarship for her to stay in.
It was a 75% scholarship.
It was pretty incredible.
I'm not surprised that so many children are not ready to learn in kindergarten. They're not given opportunities of reading every day, of parents or adults talking to them so they can build their vocabulary. They're not given opportunities to hold a pencil. They might not have opportunities to play with other children and learn those social skills such as waiting their turn, delayed gratification, internal motivation, sharing, all of those things that in a group setting or just with multiple children, you're going to see them learn those critical skills. Early childhood education can really determine a child's success, especially an at-risk child, so a child that may not have the best home life or other factors that could make them at risk. If they do not have an early childhood education, they're 25% more likely to drop out of school. They're 50% more likely to need special education, and they're 70% more likely to be incarcerated.
A lot of people now say, oh, these kids growing up now are bratty and they get whatever they want and they're mean and they're nasty. But when kids are exposed to quality centers when they're young, they're taught kindness and being good to one another and sharing, and they're going to grow up to be better citizens. The small investment that can be made for a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old can make a great difference.
Businesses need to connect the dots that these children that are in our early childhood centers right now are going to be in their workforce 12 to 15 years from now. The jobs will need to have the combination of skills of technical skills and social skills. People that can work with others, collaborate, problem solve, and know science and technology. If we want leaders and we want a workforce that is smart, intelligent, and can work together, we really need to invest in the first 5 years.
We didn't really know who she was yet. I mean, we knew that she was an excited little girl and she was very inquisitive and she was, good with puzzles and she liked to see us read, but she didn't have a voice necessarily. And what Diamond Street did is it gave her a voice, and they gave her the ability to use her words to grow and to learn. And she made friends. She's learned so much. She's so far ahead of where she would have been had she gone to just a run-of-the-mill daycare. And she is who she is now, a really remarkable little girl, because of the opportunity she was given here at Diamond Street.